And we are at Mile High Stadium in Denver as the Seattle Seahawks visit the Denver Broncos. The 193rd straight sellout. 76,000 plus on hand and one of the better venues in the NFL. Hi, everybody. I'm Dan Hicks along with Bob Golick. And in order to jumpstart this Denver offense for the first time, at least in John Elway's memory, they will start out of the shotgun offense. At least that's what John tells us.
Right. They had gone to it the second half of the Rams game to get things going. Decided they're going to make that their rule of thumb today. And what it affords John is an opportunity to get a little bit more vision downfield, a little more time to see his receivers, see if that is able to get them going.
Well, the sun has been peeking in and out of the clouds here. Overcast, guys. Pretty good day. 50 degrees for a mid-November day in Denver. Broncos win the toss. They elect to receive, and this is Glenn Milburn from the goal line, taking the John Casey kick, and Milburn brought down at the 15. John Elway, as we told you earlier, we expect to see him in the shotgun. A lot of talk this week in Denver about the jet offense in order to try to get the Broncos a little bit more aggressive on the offensive side of the football.
Right, that's the one thing he had said. He goes, what we need, we've been telling the team to do is to get out there, start aggressive, and stay aggressive.
Well, Elway under center. You can hear the crowd cheer John Elway as he begins in the jet from the shotgun. He's on the mark to Leonard Russell, but Russell unable to hang on. Incomplete. It'll bring up second down and 10 for Denver. John Elway unsuccessful in a fourth quarter game-saving try against the Rams last week. Up front, Zimmerman Melander is back at the left guard spot after being inactive last week with an ankle injury. The two-back set in the jet, which we'll see today. You have Russell and Milburn. Shannon Sharp is Elway's favorite target at the tight end, and you'll see Milburn stay in the jet sub and Cedric Tillman come in as the third wideout. And a quick give is to Leonard Russell, and Russell may have lost a yard. As we set the Seahawk defense for you, Rod Stevens on the tackle there. Up front for Seattle is Edwards, Nash, Cortez Kennedy, and Brent Williams. Stevens had a career-high 16 tackles last week in the very frustrating loss for the Seahawks to the previously winless Bengals. So third down and 11, ball at Denver zone 13.
Come on.
Elway, plenty of time and an excellent defensive play by Carlton Gray. Elway wanted to gun it to Miller, but Carlton Gray, in his second year out of UCLA, tips it away.
As we can see the coverage out on the corner, you see the route break to the outside. Good anticipation by Gray, stepping in front of the ball. A little half step sooner, could have had it, but all in all, a great defensive play.
So much for the start out of the shotgun for Denver, as Tom Ruin is standing at his old goal line. Kelvin Martin stands back at his 40 to return the punt. He drifts up to the 45 as across midfield and brings it into Denver territory at the 42, and that's where Seattle will begin. Rough week last week for Rick Meyer, completing just 40% of his passes, the poorest completion rate so far this season, in that loss to the Bengals. Up front, an improving offensive line for Seattle. Mowai, Kevin Mowai, is the rookie out of LSU who is getting his fifth start in place of the injured Bill Hitchcock. Chris Warren is the featured back, zeroing in on another 1,000-yard season. Brian Blades is zeroing in on another Pro Bowl season. Rob Thomas comes in as the third wideout. Paul Green starts at tight end. And right to the air goes Meyer, incomplete. It was intended for Chris Warren. The Broncos come in with the lowest rated defense in the NFL, 28th. Just 7 sacks for Denver, 3 of them by the all-time leading sacker for the Broncos, Simon Fletcher. Carl Mecklenburg, the 12-year veteran, gets his start. He started every game this season for Dave Wyman. And in the secondary, Randy Hilliard gets the start for Ben Smith for the second week in a row. Randy Fuller comes in as the nickel back. Second down and 10 for Seattle. Good field position to begin their first possession. Myers in trouble and works his way maybe for a yard gain just across the line of scrimmage before Simon Fletcher brings him down.
Well, he had great pressure on him right away. Didn't even have a chance to set up and get a good look downfield. Here in the center, your screen, you can see Mike Kroll coming with a rush with Hasselbeck up inside. Great pressure right away. Meyer can't even get a chance to set and look for his receivers. That's one thing that the Bronco defensive line has to do. They only have 7 sacks, as you said, this season. They've got to start getting them.
3rd and 9 on the gain of 1 for Meyer, and he's out of the shotgun. As flags come in. And we'll wait and see what our referee, Larry Nemmers, explains here.
Ball start prior to the snap, 52 offense, 5 yards, still 3rd down.
And that is the rookie, Kevin Mulway.
Rookie.
Hey, easy. Coming out
And
of the
you
stance.
just see a rookie. A lot of times that happens. They're anxious to get in there. A defensive guy steps up, faking the blitz. He gets a little antsy, wants to be able to set up, and just jumps a little bit early.
With time over the middle of the field, wide open was Terrence Warren. The Denver defenders were closing in. Dennis Smith leading the charge along with Randy Fuller, and Warren was hit and is down on the field at the 14.
Yeah, he came in, really got good separation from his coverage, was able to get a little free space, but as you said, they really started closing in. Top of your screen, you just see him streak down the field and make the break to the inside, the little slant over the middle. Shot right to the midsection.
And a guy that's provided a few hard hits in his career, Dennis Smith. We'll take time out with 12:51 left in the first. Scoreless.
You really go in there, you got to make the big hit. Try and make sure that ball is not completed.
So on 4th down and 14, Seattle to punt. This is Rick Tootin. Glenn Milburn back deep for Denver, lets the ball drift over his head, and Seattle trying to come up with a big special teams play, and I believe they have downed the ball at the 4-yard line.
A great play, getting up and knocking that ball.
Rob Thomas with a special teams play on the 41-yard punt.
Good bounce on the punt there. Just really got a nice little bounce. He was in perfect position. Was able to get the ball, and everybody stayed in control. I mean, how many games have we seen where these guys all come running down there and they're so excited to try and down the ball, they actually take it in the end zone. Here, very controlled, going up, just tipping the ball back to the guys, and they.
So 1st and 10 for Denver from its own 4. And Elway comes up under center. No shotgun to begin this series. And this is Leonard Russell across the 5. Maybe got 2 or 3 yards before he's met by Terry Wooden. Wooden, the leading tackler in this Seahawk defense, which really has tumbled in this 5-game losing streak, as we take a look at Jim Fossil, the offensive coordinator for the Broncos.
Yeah, he was not real thrilled that the word got out that they were going to be using the Jets offense, and was a little bit irate with the media this past week.
From the 7, 2nd down and 6. Elway sets up at the goal line, and what an interception by Terry Wooden. Wooden inside the 20, down to the 17. A one-handed grab by Terry Wooden.
What incredible placement. Over on the left side of your screen, you're going to see tight end Jerry Evans coming down. He's about 20 yards. Wooden steps right in front and is able to pick off that ball. Great one-handed snag.
3rd interception of the season for Terry Wooden. And the interception for John Elway, he's been keeping that total down, just the 7th of the season. So Seattle with excellent field position. And here's Chris Warren trying to turn the corner as a flag comes in. Steve Atwater runs Chris Warren out of bounds. Chris Warren trying to get another 1,000-yard season. He's already had back-to-back, looking for another 1,000-yard season. As you take a look at some of the scores on this NFL Sunday, let's hear from Larry Nemmers.
69 offense, 10 yards, repeat 1st down.
And that as Jeff Blackshear called for the penalty on the Seattle left tackle.
He's one of the biggest guys you're gonna see out on the field. Left side of your screen, number 69. He's going to be blocking on the linebacker. You can grab it onto the jersey, just trying to slow him down a little bit. A lot of the offensive linemen feel if they keep their hands within the framework of the body, then it can't be called as holding. But if you're falling down and you got the guy's jersey stretched out about 4 feet, the ref's going to call something.
Seattle backed up now, 1st and 20. Meyer flushed out of the pocket. He'll go down for the 2nd time. So Denver, which got a sack earlier from Simon Fletcher, that was ruled a sack. This is Shane Dronette, and he picks up his 2nd sack of 94.
A lot of pressure on Meyer right from the start. You're getting Fletcher from one side and Dronette from the other side. A lot of open space up the middle. An experienced quarterback is going to step up and try and get away from the outside rush. He just stepped up just a little bit too late. Wasn't able to work his way out of that problem.
Terrence Warren, injured ribs, his return questionable. 2nd and 22 now for Seattle. Warren up the middle. Good burst. Inside the 20, legs still turning, and they'll mark him down around the 16.
Well, he's been one of the strong points for this Seattle team. Talk about Meyer at quarterback having a good 2nd season, but Warren is the all-purpose guy that has really done a lot of things, not just as a running back, as you see here, bursting through the hole, but as the guy that catches the little dump passes, has the strength and the quickness to be able to run with the ball after he catches it.
There are the back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons. He comes in today's game as the AFC's 3rd leading rusher. 3rd down and 9 now for the Seahawks, trying to take advantage of the interception by Wooden. Lots of time for Meyer. He wanted Kelvin Martin incomplete. Now the coverage for Denver, Ray Crockett.
Great protection up front. Meyer had a lot of time. They've really spent a lot of time getting some experience at the offensive line to give some protection. Great coverage. And Rick Meyer just not seeing the 2nd defender stepping in.
This will be a 34-yard attempt for John Casey. Dating back to last season, he has hit 22 of his last 24. This will be just his 2nd field goal attempt in the last 4 games. And he slips after the hold by Tootin, and Tootin is in no man's land, drifts a pass incomplete. And Tom Flores wonders what happened on the 34-yard attempt by John Casey. Let's look.
Well, the set's fine. Casey just slips. Tootin at this point is a man without a country. He's just looking to get away.
So Seattle unable to take advantage of the interception by Wooden. Had great field position and a chance to score, but Seattle comes up empty with 10:13 left in the 1st.
Drive it at your local Chevy dealer and buy Wendy's.
The pitch to Leonard Russell, right side. And Russell picks up 2 or 3, stopped by Rod Stevens.
Well, I think the Broncos at this point really have to decide what they want to do. There's been this big hype about the Jet offense. Perhaps that first series was just a decoy and then go back. We've got a player who has gone down on the way back to the huddle.
Hasn't exactly been an offensive clinic thus far. Seattle just 13 yards on offense as we look at Brian Habib, the injured Denver Bronco. And the Broncos now with a total of 4 yards total offense. So this early Jet strategy doesn't seem to have taken hold early on, at least.
When we went in to talk to the coaches the other day, we sat in that meeting room and they had the board up with everything written, and the one section that normally said, where it said basic offense, remember we saw that basic had been scratched out and Jet had been penciled in, giving us the indication that was probably the way they're going to go. But now it looks like it may have been
well, Habib is being carried off the field as we take a look at the quarterback comparisons before this game began. Rick Meyer not having a big number season, but keeping the touchdown interception ratio in pretty good shape. And we just saw John Elway throw his 7th interception of the year. Tom Nalen, the rookie out of Boston College, will replace Habib at right guard. So Denver already with some injury problems up front. Watches Habib go to the sidelines on 2nd down and 9 from their own 17. Milburn and Russell in the backfield for Elway. Shannon Sharp. And Sharp with his first reception of the day, close to the first down. It appeared he picked it up. Orlando Waters and Dave McCluen on the coverage of Sharp.
Well, he runs it as a tight end, but a lot of times in the jet he runs from a split-out situation. There was good coverage, just a great throw, good concentration on Sharp's spot. It'd be interesting to talk to him and find out. You know, he's been injured as of late. His ankle's been bothering him quite a bit. He's had to take some injections in earlier games, but now he wants to go without it. See if he can play without the injection.
Sharp picks up the first down. Elway across the middle. Jerry Evans, the tight end, incomplete. Eugene Robinson on the coverage for Seattle's defense, and let's set them for you. Edwards, Nash, Kennedy, and Williams up front. Cortez Kennedy, the former #1 pick, with just 1 sack of the 15 total for Seattle. Terry Wooden, the leading tackler. Rod Stevens, the career high, 16 tackles last week. And Orlando Waters starting again for Patrick Hunter, who is inactive again, and Raphael Robinson is the nickelback in the Hawk defensive set for the Seahawks. There's Habib, at least good news, up and around on his own power on the Denver sideline.
And John Melander just walked off the field, also took his helmet off and threw that down. He's being checked on the sidelines. So Denver's offensive line is getting beat up fairly early.
That was a look at Nalen on 2nd down and 10 now. Elway flushed out, and on the run is marked out of bounds at about the 29, so he may have got 1 or 2. Good pressure by Sam Adams, the rookie out of Texas A&M.
Well, as you said, Sam Adams is the new big young guy inside they're looking to work with. This gentleman, Cortez Kennedy, has just been a power since his first day in the league coming up. He's a guy that garners a lot of attention from offensive linemen up front. I mean, he's always getting passed from one to another, double teamed. But for his size, Cortez Kennedy, amazing quickness, and that's why he is one of the top D linemen in the league every year.
Broncos out of the jet. Lots of time for Elway. Excellent catch by Anthony Miller, in and out of the hands. It's now incomplete. Elway really gunned it into Anthony Miller, who is still trying to recover from a very slow start to the season. After 5 games, he had 12 receptions. The last 4, he's had 19, so his production has picked up a little bit.
We're going to see Miller crossing from the right side of your screen. Well covered, but as always with John Elway, he can take the guy that is covered and throw the ball and place it perfectly so he can make the reception. The problem there is when you're covered that tightly, the ball can be knocked away fairly easily.
Tom Ruin turns this one over to Kelvin Martin, who calls the fair catch at the 39. So not a lot of offense by either team so far. 8:06 left in the first. No doubt about it, Bob, an embarrassing loss to Cincinnati last week in their very first game at the Kingdome, losing in overtime to the then winless Bengals, 20-17.
Yeah, they were, and they said that they were embarrassed by it. They went out there, they didn't feel that they played well. They were, there was no, the first game back in the Kingdome should have been a happy homecoming for them, but yet during the course of that game, they were getting booed.
There is Brian Habib. He is out for the game, injured right calf. Kelvin Martin into Denver territory at the 49-yard line. Number 49, Dennis Smith, makes the stop on Kelvin Martin.
Well, finally, he's getting some time to set up and throw the ball. Martin getting across right over the center between the linebackers, found the open spot, and able to make the grab before Smith came up and made the hit.
The numbers for Kelvin Martin, the former Cowboy, spent 6 years with Dallas. Picks up the first down, and the Seahawks in Denver territory at the 49 with a 1st and 10. hands. Meyer picks it up. Seahawks get it back, but they'll lose a few. It looked like Shane Dronette came in and stripped it out of the hands of Meyer.
Exactly. He came through, was able to slip his block, and just obviously must have got the ball, his hand out right on the ball. It just kicked it right out. Meyer, being very aware, picked it up, was looking for some room, said, yeah, let's try the next play. See if we can see his hand just reach in there. Yeah, Russell just had his arm out, and Dronette just was able to get his hand right on the ball and slap it away.
There are the Seattle turnover troubles, well documented. The Seattle team had 5 turnovers in the first game with Denver this season, which they lost 16-9. Play action now from Meyer. Incomplete. Pass intended for Brian Blades. That's the first time that we've seen Meyer look for Brian Blades, his leading receiver.
Well, pressure on Meyer on this play. In fact, hit as he releases the ball. Just a little bit late. I guess wasn't that hard a hit, so the ref said, hey, we'll let him slide. But it was enough to distract him because the ball was thrown behind Blades. Made a very difficult catch for him.
3rd and 14. Seattle has really been moving backwards after getting excellent field position a couple of times early. Meyer with time this time, intended for Brian Blades, but it looked more like Meyer was just throwing that ball away because Blades was covered nicely by the Bronco defensive backs.
Well, he was covered, but when you have defensive backs sitting deeper than their coverage guy, you don't want to throw the ball away over his head. Somebody's going to go out there and get one of those picks that you don't really have to work for.
Glenn Milburn back at his 10. And Rick Tootin into punt. Milburn has a chance from the 10. And he's run out of bounds at the 18-yard line by number 21, Raphael Robinson. 43-yard punt by Tootin, 8-yard return by Milburn. We'll be right back.
Working to be the best. Teammates sponsor
the second half, and they were looking for that same momentum here today, but it just has not materialized as Leonard Russell gets the call on 1st and 10. Rufus Porter runs him out of bounds.
Well, you know, like you said, this jet was something that got him so much yardage last week. They said they're going to start off with, but they've been flopping back and forth, not really establishing anything. Rufus Porter and the rest of the Seattle defense really stringing that play out well. You know, they're trying to run running plays where the ball's handed deep, and then you let the running back pick the hole. But Seattle's defense is playing very strong across the front, flowing well to the play.
John Nylander is back in the game on the offensive line for Denver. 2nd down and 5, and Glenn Milburn with his first carry of the game tripped up across the 25.
Orlando Waters making the play. Just basically running on that play, one of those counter tray OTs that the Washington Redskins like so well. You'll see the backside guard and tackle pulling around and leading the block for Milburn, taking out Wooden and some of the other guys, but Waters is able to come up from the outside and trip him up.
And Milburn was supposed to be pretty much the featured back in this Jet offense. He is the lone back in the Jet sub, and really has been a 3rd down kind of back for most of the season, but is expected to see more action on 1st and 2nd downs. 3rd down and short now for Elway. Out of the shotgun, Shannon Sharp, and he has the 1st down up to the 33. 2nd reception of the game for Shannon Sharp.
I'll tell you what, you got to give this guy a lot of credit. He is playing in tremendous pain. He had surgery in the offseason for calcium deposits in the ankle. He says he's going to have surgery again. On the left side of your screen, right in the middle, making the catch wide open underneath the linebacker's coverage, but playing in a tremendous amount of pain. Last week he said he went until his body just quit. You know, you get to that pain point where you just can't go anymore.
Elway's pass, it appeared it might have been deflected at the line of scrimmage. Carlton Gray on the coverage, and it was intended for Anthony Miller. But right out of the box, that one looked like the old wounded quail.
I'll tell you what, even after Carlton Gray tipped the ball, it was still coming in Miller's direction. I thought he might have been able to pick that one up.
2nd and 10 now for the Broncos. 3:59 left in the first quarter. Scoreless from Denver. Flags on the play. Milburn out of the backfield, stopped for a loss. Orlando Waters laying a pretty good hit on Milburn.
What a great hit. I'll tell you what, it's going to be offsides, and it's going to be on Rufus Porter, and it's going to be because John Elway.
And Milburn is down injured. He took a pop from Waters.
Well, Milburn's not the biggest guy in the world, and a shot like that is going to slow you a little bit.
Defensive right end was offside. 5 yards. Repeat, 2nd down.
Well, the right end for Seattle is number 93, Brent Williams, but no number indicated by Larry Nemmers, as Milburn is now up, and that's good news.
That's good news, because as we talked to him during the week, he was the guy that they really felt that they were going to go to. He was the guy that's been producing. They get him on in 1st down and 2nd down. When he was playing 3rd down only, he said people knew what I was there for. You know, they keyed on me, and I was able to. I wasn't able to do what I wanted to do.
Here is the hit by Orlando Waters on Milburn. Waters playing for Patrick Hunter. Hunter has been inactive with a hamstring injury. But Milburn last week, his best week as a pro, had 202 all-purpose yards. Penalty moves it up to the 39, 2nd down and 5. Reggie Rivers in the backfield along with Leonard Russell. Elway barking out an audible to Leonard Russell. Elway will be flushed out, takes the pass on the left side, very close to a 1st down, needs to get up to the 44, and we'll take our first time out, step aside, and send you to Greg Gumbel in New York.
All right, Dan, at Arrowhead Stadium, this is how the Chargers-Chiefs game ended. Joe Montana to Danon Hughes inside the San Diego 35. Chargers led by 1, but the Chiefs won't run another play before the clock expires. The Chargers open up a 2-game lead in the AFC West. They've swept the rest of the division on the road. Today, they beat the Chiefs 14-13, Dan.
All right, Greg, huge win for San Diego. As Greg mentions, they improved to 8-2, as Elway is just short. But San Diego, not a lot of people were giving them much of a shot at Arrowhead Stadium.
No, and it's amazing. You look at that team and you see what happened since Humphreys was injured, and that's when they started losing. And unfortunately, you hate to see a team so driven by one man, but you know, at this point, Stan Humphreys is the guy that really generates the offense and it makes them the competitive team they are. But I'll tell you what, this whole division, you know, you don't know from week to week who's going to show up and who's going to do well. So, you know, these guys here at 3-6 each, if the guy getting the win could eventually work their way back up into contention.
3rd and inches. Leonard Russell has the 1st down and more into Seahawk territory to the 48. Waters brings him down, but Denver, with its best series of the game, moves the chains again.
Well, a short yardage situation, this is on the linebacker. He's the guy that's got to make the play. Up front, the D linemen are told to stay low, bury your head into the guy's chest, or down lower into the ground. Try and get him back. Don't let him get any push in the line of scrimmage. The linebacker's got the guy that has to locate the back, find the hole, and make the big hit.
Elway always mobile. Out of the backfield is Reggie Rivers, and Rivers will gain 5. Bob Spatulski knocks him down.
Isn't that like the greatest name for one of the throwbacks, Spatulski? We see Rivers. He was the fullback in the jet formation at the left of your screen. Just releases, and he's specifically there as the dump guy. He's been looking at John the whole play from the snap. John sees him. He goes and picks up the yardage.
Well, they are working on Glenn Milburn's knee on the sidelines. No prognosis yet. We'll try to update you on Milburn's condition. As Derek Clark gets the carry, Clark gets up to about the 41 before he's run out of bounds by Waters and Rufus Porter. So Derek Clark with his 19th carry of the season, as we take a look at Milburn, a thigh bruise, not a knee problem, with the second-year man out of Stanford. So it looks like he just took a shot, and they're trying to work it out.
I've had these before, and anybody who's had a thigh bruise knows that it is one of the most painful things you can get. You have to keep stretching. They'll get a pad on it. They'll keep him stretching on the sidelines, and he should be able to continue the game.
Elway fires right side. Shannon Sharp not able to make the reception. Excellent try, but it was Shannon Sharp who told us also a couple of days ago that last week's 4th and 7 attempt by the Broncos in the waning moments in Anaheim, he did not make that catch, and he did not make this one either.
Well, the throw, a sideline throw, difficult to get the angle on that, thrown behind Sharp, and you could see John's reaction afterwards. He knows that it was off, upset at himself and upset that they're just not getting the offense generated that they need to take control of this game.
So the drive sputters at the 41, and Ruin sends it to Kelvin Martin over his head. Broncos trying to pin back Seattle, and it appears they've got them inside the 1. Excellent special teams coverage by the Seahawks.
They're signaling touchback, I believe.
Well, now they are. It appeared that they had it inside the 1.
Yeah, that's one of those things where you get all these guys rushing down. Everybody wants to be the guy to get it down and to make the big play. The problem is, if you touch that ball and any part of your body is in the end zone, it is a touchback. It doesn't matter where the ball is. If your body's in the end zone and you're touching the ball on the 1, it is still a touchback, and that's what's happened there.
Very close. So Seattle will begin from the 20. Tonight, primetime is action-packed on NBC at 7 o'clock, 6 Central. It's the show the critics call compelling, provocative, and impressive. The newest hit drama of the year, Earth 2. Then the Sequest must stop the ultimate cyborg war machine. Minute 9 left in the first. Flag on the play as Myers sends it Kelvin Martin's way over his head.
Well, I don't know if they're just not communicating. Let's see what the call is here. Illegal motion on the Seahawks.
Illegal motion, number 84 offense. Penalty is refused, 2nd down.
Seattle's offensive problems continue.
Well, the Denver Broncos opting to just take the down away from them, leaving it as 2nd and 10 instead of 1st and 15. Meyer they don't seem to be communicating. They're between the routes and the throws. He seems really to be off.
Warren. Good game. Looking for the first down marker at the 30. Very close. Run out of bounds by Randy Hilliard. Chris Warren, one of those backs in the league, doesn't get a lot of attention, but is what he said earlier, says I get more attention for attention I'm not getting.
Well, Carl Mecklenburg guessed. He came up and tried to fill on the left side of your screen. Warren took off to the right, which left it wide open, and was able to string on the defense. And a guy with that much speed and quickness and ability to find open spots, he's going to hurt you. Carl Mecklenburg, I believe he's in his 12th season. They brought him back again this year after a little bit of a salary dispute.
Warren just picks up the first down, and he gets to carry a game. Good burst up the middle. Across the 45, brought down by Mike Kroll. And let's see what the veteran Mecklenburg was up to on that play.
Well, middle linebacker is not necessarily the position for him. Locked up by Ray Donaldson and just wasn't able to get the separation. And that's something that a linebacker has to do. He has to get in there. He has to stop the aggression of the offensive lineman, stop him in his tracks, and then he has to maintain him. He has to control the offensive lineman until he sees where the running back's going. Get separation and make the hit. That time, Ray Donaldson, a good veteran, was able to control him.
End of the first quarter in Mile High Stadium in Denver. The Seahawks trying to keep this drive alive. We'll be right back.
Ever seen one of these? No, you haven't, because this is the future of television. A tiny satellite dish that receives something new called DirecTV. Now, for those of us who aren't rocket scientists...
What's been for Seattle, Chris Warren averaging more than 7 yards a carry. Meyer just 1 for 7, and that'll make it 1 for 8 as he's pressured by Harold Hasselbach. Intended for Steve Smith. Let's send you back to our New York studios and hear from Greg Gumbel. Greg?
All right, Dan, the Battle of L.A. at Anaheim. Chris Chandler of the Rams from 22 yards out. Flipper Anderson near the back of the end zone. The extra point makes this a tie game at 7-7 in the second quarter. Raiders and the Rams. Dan?
All right, Greg, scoreless. Just the start of the second quarter. The pitch to Warren. Warren with some more good yardage. He's into Denver territory before he's brought down by the strong safety, Steve Atwater, with the passing game not in sync at all. Go to Chris Warren. What's the secret? There's none.
You're looking at Rick Meyer, 1 and 7. Again, we're seeing Mecklenburg really stringing this out well, but Warren, just a powerful back. He can break arm tackles. He's not the guy that's going to be tripped up. He's going to bowl over some people and pick up a lot of yardage, and he's the guy that they got to go to now until Meyer finds a way to start connecting with these receivers, because right now he ain't close.
Pickup of 7. 3rd down and 3. Meyer now 1 for 10. That was intended for Brian Blades. As we take a look at the first quarter stats, passing yards for the Seahawks, just 9.
Well, I'll tell you what, this is, they're looking at time of possession, which is the same. Now, look, going into this game, we're looking at 2 defenses that are ranked at the bottom 2 in the NFL. I think we were expecting to see some offensive stats and some yardage that was going to be pretty impressive on that side of the ball, but right now it's the defenses that are controlling the line.
Rick Toot back to punt again. Glenn Milburn obviously feeling better, is back deep to receive. High hanging punt, he'll let it float. Bounces at the 11. And they'll pin Denver deep in its own territory. They'll begin at about the 3-yard line when we return. Broncos trying to get some breathing room. Leonard Russell breaks out of the mass across the 10-yard line before he's brought down by Eugene Robinson.
Well, great vision by Russell, because where he wanted to run, there was nowhere to go. You know, and that's a guy who's going to be productive as a running back, is a guy who can find the open spot. There, as you see, nothing inside, decides to bounce it to the outside. If he hadn't been tripped up, he could have got another 5-8 yards.
Just 6 carries, 10 yards last week against the Rams. His last 100-yard game came against the Seattle team. Here he is again, and he's got the first down. Rufus Porter makes the stop, but Denver going to the running game. See if that'll work.
Well, I'll tell you what, here's a shot of Rufus Porter standing up, but we just had a shot of Rufus Porter knocked down. Leonard Russell just buried him, put his shoulder down, hit him in the chest, and knocked him flat on his back.
Leonard Russell was arrested in the early morning hours after the Rams game last week. Got into a fight in a bar, knocked somebody cold, but no punishment, no fines by Wade Phillips. He said that this guy was pretty much taunting his running back. And Elway out of the shotgun, he'll go down to sack Cortez Kennedy. Just the 2nd sack of the year for the Tez.
Well, we talked about him earlier. He's a guy, and you look at him, he's gigantic. And you don't see him as being a quick guy. He's on the center part of your screen, just like a little stutter step move on the center, arm over, and comes clean into John Elway. Great quickness, ability, flexibility. You know, to be a good pass rusher, you have to be able to fake and move. You've got to be able to twist your body, contort your body to slip through these gaps. And this guy, he does it all. Unfortunately, he's been getting double teamed because of how good he did last year.
30th career sack for the Tez. Little shuttle pass here to Milburn, and Milburn gets back up to the 10-yard line. But that will bring up 3rd down and long for Denver. Dave McCluen put the stop on Milburn.
Well, that's a very, very effective play, but here at your own end zone, I don't know if that's the smartest thing to do. You're flipping the ball forward where there's a lot of traffic. You got to really rely on good hands of your receiver. But that play actually works into the Bronco offense quite a bit. A lot of other teams have tried it, but maybe once every couple of weeks.
Well, the Broncos. That's Cortez Kennedy moving across for Seattle as flags come in.
Okay, Cortez, now you're supposed to be pointing at the guy saying, he pulled me off sides. Come on, point. It's his fault he pulled me off sides.
One of your old tricks,
well, you know,
sure.
It's one of the givens.
Prior to the snap, number 96 defense.
Well, it didn't
5
work.
yards, still 3rd down.
Well, I guess that when it's that obvious, there's not much you can Well, you know, you got to give the guy credit for taking some responsibility for his actions. And in this day and age, you know, our society going to pots, it's good to see that. What a great role model. Of course, the ref will be telling, the coach will be telling tomorrow, sell it, man. Tell him the guy pulled you off sides.
Elway out of the shotgun, 3rd down and 10. And he'll go under again. 3rd sack of the game by Seattle, and that one comes from Sam Adams. Had his first career sack versus Denver a month ago and picks up number 2 today.
He's on the right side and looks like the clone of Cortez Kennedy, both big, strong, and burly, and pretty much doing the same moves. A little juke, a little arm over, and coming clean to John Elway. And that has been the problem for the Broncos. They are way behind in the sacks allowed and sacks taken.
Not a very good punt by Ruin. Kelvin Martin begins from the 45 as flags come in again. 10-yard return by Martin. 41-yard punt by Ruin. Brought down by Richard Harvey.
Well, a combination of things have left the Seahawks in very good field position.
Now if they can just convert. Remember, John Casey slipped while attempting a 34-yard field goal in the first quarter after a Terry Wooden interception. And really not since then has either offense threatened.
Well, Chris Warren, as you said before, is the guy that's really been getting the yardage, but you can't do it with just one guy. Eventually, they're going to key in on him.
We have a post-possession foul on 41 of the offense. Unsportsmanlike conduct for a hit out of bounds. The penalty will be tacked on from the end of the run.
41 is Eugene Robinson. And that'll move Seattle back, so it's not as good field position as we first thought.
Five years ago.
Earlier this season, Denver picking up a 16-9 win over the Seattle Seahawks. John Elway running it in, and the Broncos taking advantage of 5 Seattle turnovers to win it 16-9. And after the 0-4 start, that was the Denver Broncos' very first win of the season. You see the ball back all the way at the 39. Kelvin Martin had returned it to the 35 of Denver's, but Eugene Robinson's 15-yard unsportsmanlike penalty from the spot of the infraction has moved it back 15 yards.
So just when you think you've got an opportunity to be in good position, you shoot yourself in the foot, which is what they said they've been doing.
And this is Tracy Johnson with a carry, fumble, and Denver indicates they have it. Larry Nembers indicates the same thing. Bronco football, Carl Mecklenburg and Mike Kroll combined on it. Mecklenburg recovered it for Denver.
Just an inside run. He hits the wall of people and is just trying to drive for more yardage.
There's
Mecklenburg just pulling the ball right out of his hands, and that's something that they've been stressing. They told us they've worked on it this week. They want them to know that when the running back is carrying the ball, that they're going to challenge that ball. They are going for it because they need the turnovers.
Let's see if the Broncos can take advantage. Pitch to Russell. Russell with a lot of room. Still on his feet. Knocked out of bounds at the 18-yard line by Carlton Gray. 22-yard gain by Russell.
Wide open up front. Quick pitch to Russell. He just finds the hole, shoots up. Eugene Robinson has a shot on him there and misses. Russell just running for his life. He wide open, just powering over people. He feels good about what he's doing now. You can see it in the way that he's running.
And here he is again, and this time stopped at about the 14-yard line. Rufus Porter put a big hit on him. Let's go back to New York in our NFL Live studios.
All right, Dan, at Anaheim, the Raiders have come back to take the lead. Jeff Hostetler from 10 yards out finds Rocket Ismail at the goal line all alone. The extra point makes it a 14-7 Raiders lead over the Rams in the second quarter, Dan.
Still no score here. John Elway's wrist apparently being worked on the Denver sidelines. We're trying to get an update on that. 2nd down and 6 now, and Russell again. Cortez Kennedy made the stop, and more flags flying.
It's a face mask on Cortez Kennedy. Cortez, a great play right from the beginning of the play. Just controlled his guy, drove him back into the backfield, got rid of him.
5-yard face mask, 96, tacked on from the end of the run, still 2nd down.
So just a 5-yarder on the Tez.
So they say it's the 5-yarder means it's inadvertent. Here you see him grab the hand, accidentally grabs onto that. And as anybody who has played the game knows, the face mask makes a great handle. Unfortunately, it's the rules.
It can be pretty dangerous.
It can be very dangerous.
When you're on the receiving end of the Tez, grabbing onto the handle. Well, it'll be 1st and goal from the 8. So it's not 2nd down, as the indication from Nemers. And the other way is Reggie Rivers. Seattle not fooled at all. Brent Williams in the backfield to make the stop for Seattle.
A great play by Williams. On a play like that, it's a counter play. You're going to see him start to the left, come back right. He has to be sealed off. The backside defensive linemen have to be sealed off, or if they're allowed to run through unobstructed, they can chase this down because it is a slow starting running play. They've got to have the offensive lineman or a running back has to seal the backside and keep that guy from chasing the play down.
2nd down and goal. Loss of 4 on the play from the 12. Elway trying to get the touchdown. Yes!
John took a couple of hits from his own guys from the sidelines, and congratulations.
Did you see him pick his way out of that Seattle pressure at the line of scrimmage? Watch this.
Right, they had to run some games up front, the end coming inside, Sam Adams coming outside, Elway avoiding Sam's grasp, just finding it. Now here the coverage people have to decide, do I stay in coverage or do I go after John? At that point, he crossed the line of scrimmage. It was too late for that to stop him from getting the end zone.
3rd rushing touchdown of the season for Elway. Jason Elam tacks on the extra point, and finally, with 8:41 left in the 1st half, we have a score, and it's Denver 7, Seattle nothing.
10 minutes? Perfect. I'll see you then.
Total improv by John Elway puts the Broncos on the board. Elam kicking off back deep is John Vaughn and Michael Bates, and this will be Vaughn to bring it out. And Vaughn gets it back to the 20. And Denver has indicated they have the football. And it looks like a Seahawk recovered it.
Steve Smith.
Another look at John Elway in creative form.
The anatomy up front. When you run the games, you got to maintain your lanes. They did a good job there, but when Sam Adams lost his feet, it gave John that little bit of a lane, and that's all he needs to break it open. Then when he finds the open spot, the defensive coverage people at this point have to stay on their guy until John crosses the line of scrimmage. By the time he crosses the line, it's too late. He's got the momentum, and he dives into the end zone.
And confusion on Seattle's offense. Rick Meyer calls a timeout. And we'll take a timeout. John Elway's 12-yard run puts Denver up 7-0. On the coverage for Denver, Hilliard filling in for Ben Smith, inactive for the 2nd week in a row with a bruised hip.
Well, the Broncos decided they were going to blitz on that one. They slid Mecklenburg over to the right-hand side from his middle linebacker position, brought up the safety, and they both came. When both guys blitz on the outside, one will pick up the back man-to-man if he releases.
Meyer was just 13 of 32 last week. So they go back to the run game, and John Vaughn cuts back. And he's across the 35 before Hilliard brings him down. John Vaughn, the former Patriot, his 4th year out of Michigan, picks up the first down.
Well, the play starts to the offensive left. Everybody jams up. The backside has a tendency on a lot of those plays to kind of break open. You don't know where your lanes are. On the backside, you want to go and you make a play, and gaps have a tendency to open up. A quick back and find it and cut it all the way back.
7:51 left in the half. Denver up 7-0, and this is Warren. Warren's across the 40, brought down by Dronette and Hasselback. And Warren not exactly happy with his treatment from Dronette on that play.
We got a shot of Carl Mecklenburg releasing off of the block, and again, he's not real comfortable with his middle linebacker position, and he's had to be thrown into that foray because of the injury to Dave Wyman.
Picks up the first down, needed just to get to about the 46. And he's got the first down, brought down by Steve Atwater. So Meyer 1 of 10 passing. They go to Chris Warren.
Well, once again, Carl Mecklenburg sits backside for the cutback. Steve Smith blocks him to the outside. Carl's supposed to square up and stay even. By going to his shoulder on the blocker, he left a gap open. And a good back is going to find that immediately, especially the size of that gap.
Guess who? Chris Warren. And Warren gets 4 or 5 down to about the 45-yard line. Chris Warren could be well on his way to another 100-yard effort.
Well, at this rate, he's going to. I mean, that's the only thing they got going for him right now. He's doing a great job of not just running, but picking holes. As you see, he sees that the front side is blocked up. He's able to make the adjustment, and he's getting the ball deep enough where he's able to have the vision on the offensive line and find out where the open spot is.
Already 64 yards for Warren. He'll take a breather. That's Blades in motion to the far side, and this is the give to Smith. And Steve Smith barreling his way inside the 40. Seahawks with another first down and really taking charge up front.
Well, there's an old Raider buddy of mine who is, whenever you threw the ball to him or handed the ball to him, he is the guy who could do it for you. Look at the Broncos defense. They brought their linebackers and safeties up to give it an 8-man front, and still was not able to keep the Seahawk offense from pushing and controlling that line.
Steve Smith, one of those salary cap casualties in Los Angeles, would have made $1.1 million for the Raiders. But he signs as an unrestricted free agent. Meyer out of the shotgun, tipped away, intended for Blades. And Mecklenburg came up with a tip.
Well, Carl Mecklenburg is being kind of the center of attention for us today, playing in a position that he's a little new at. Good reaction back, good vision on the quarterback. You got to get back and see where the ball is going to be thrown. You can identify that by seeing where the quarterback's looking. And for an old guy, he can still get both feet off the ground at the same time.
34-year-old Carl Mecklenburg playing in his 174th game. 7th on the all-time list. 2nd down and 10 from the 37. Broncos send in the blitz and drop behind the line of scrimmage is John Vaughn. Perfect call by defensive coordinator Charlie Waters of Denver in that particular set.
Steve Atwater made the tackle, but you could have given that tackle to anybody. There was so many bodies over there. Everybody occupying, taking up space, penetrating, just totally disrupted that offensive, that running play. And the running back had nowhere to go. Vaughn just had nowhere to go. Atwater happened to be the guy in the right place.
Meyer runs it. And he'll maybe get back to the line of scrimmage. Hasselback runs him down. That'll bring up 4th down.
Well, you usually see that play down around the 20-yard line in the red zone going in, the quarterback draw.
And here's John Casey. Casey looking to spot this at about the 46. This would be a 56-yard attempt for John Casey.
Well, I was watching him pregame. He was hitting 55-yarders.
Well, his longest attempt to this point's been only 43 yards, and he missed it. Not even close. And that is the holder, Rick Tootin, who hustles down the field to recover it for Seattle.
We've seen so many special teams faux pas during the course of this year already. I think a lot of these guys just don't want to take a chance anymore or letting the ball lay around.
Well, next Sunday, NBC Sports presents more exciting NFL action beginning at 12:30 Eastern Time. It's NFL Live, and most of you will see Joe Montana and the Chiefs. They lost today to San Diego, but they'll host Eric Metcalf and the Cleveland Browns, and then some of you will see Boomer Esiason lead the Jets into the Metrodome to play Warren Moon and the Minnesota Vikings. Check your local listings for the game in your area. Denver taking over from its 46. Elway spins and turns, and Shannon Sharp can't hang on.
Well, both defenses playing very aggressively now. They're bringing people up. They're blitzing linebackers. They're sending backers and safeties into gaps, trying to disrupt the offensive play. That time, John's little play action fake with the short boots and the throwback out in the flat. He didn't even have time to get that set up right.
3:39 left in the half. The only touchdown scored by Elway. Leonard Russell. Short of midfield. Cortez Kennedy makes the stop on Russell. By the way, on that last field goal attempt by John Casey, we're told that the Broncos only had 10 men on the field.
Well, that's all they needed.
John Casey 0 for 2 on field goal attempts today. Russell and Milburn in the backfield flanking Elway out of the shotgun. And he wants Anthony Miller and has it. Anthony Miller brought down at the Seattle 27. Carlton Gray makes the stop, but that's the kind of game that John Elway hopes to get from Anthony Miller.
Well, Anthony Miller has had a difficult time coming in here. He went from a system in San Diego where he was just able to run 20-yard hitches, 20-yard goes, and just find the open space. The quarterback would look for him. Here, everything's become timing patterns. You run out, you get to your position on the field, and hopefully the ball, the quarterback Elway looks at you when you're open, and he drops the ball up. That time, Miller wide open.
Russell bowling his way inside the 20. That was just the first reception on the previous play by Anthony Miller, who spent 6 seasons with San Diego, signing as the unrestricted free agent. And John Elway told us that even with a slow start by Anthony Miller, just to have his speed on the field helps the offense.
Dr. Pepper presents.
What a play!
Coming up at halftime, the Domino's Pizza NFL Live halftime report with Mike Ditka and Greg Gumbel. Just short of the first down was Russell, second down and short.
Guess who?
And this is Derek Clark who gets the call, as Russell was on the sidelines taking a breather.
He had to after all the work he's been doing.
By the way, Leonard Russell already 70 yards on 12 carries.
We got a player,
Denver.
Seattle player down.
And it looks like number 93, Brent Williams, is slow getting up. We'll check on the condition of Brent Williams and bring you back to Mile High with 1:42 left in the first half.
Chance to feel better about ourselves.
Sam Adams has replaced Brent Williams at the right end position for Seattle. The pitch to Russell and the reverse to Derek Russell. And Russell to the 7. So Russell to Russell before they're brought down by Rufus Porter and Carlton Gray on the Seattle defense.
Well, I'll tell you what, if he'd been able to slip that tackle, well, you'll see at the end of this play. Handoff here, coming around. John Elway leading the way. If he'd been able to slip that tackle just a little bit farther downfield, John Elway had laid a block on Eugene Robinson. I think Robinson kind of looked over going, what are you doing out here?
Broncos have all 3 of their timeouts left, with the clock winding down to a minute left. And Russell trying to get his way down to the 5. Joe Nash, the veteran 13-year man out of Boston College, in there, pinning Russell back. Russell needed 4 for the first down, but he'll be short. 3rd down and 1. The ball at the 5. There's a look at Joe Nash, free agent back in 1982.
A great job up front by him and the other guys. They really controlled the line of scrimmage. They stayed in their gaps. They controlled where they were supposed to be. And, you know, we were talking to Eugene Robinson yesterday. He said the one thing that we have to avoid is trying to do other people's jobs. You go out there, you do your job. You don't try and do everything yourself. Once you start doing that, holes open up.
Now the injury report on Brent Williams' injured twisted knee. Questionable his return. We'll remind you the Domino's Pizza NFL Live halftime report coming up following the completion of this first half. Just 44 seconds remain. Greg Gumbel and Mike Ditka.
You know, we talked to Wade Phillips yesterday, and we kind of asking him about John Elway this year versus past years, and why he hasn't been able to be that comeback guy. And he goes, in the past, he was the guy. I mean, he was the good one, but now there are so many good quarterbacks in the division that can actually do the same thing that he's doing, come back on their own.
3rd down, less than a yard. Russell pulls his way, and he'll pick up the first down. So Denver will have 1st and goal with the clock winding down, and they'll take a timeout and stop it with 34 seconds left. So an excellent first half for Leonard Russell. Mentioned the last 100-yard game was 103 yards for him. That was about a month ago. Since then, coming into this game, he had rushed for just 112 yards in the 4 games since. So all of a sudden, he's lighting it up.
Well, that's been the problem, I think, in my opinion, with this team, is they haven't been able to balance their attack between guys. One guy's working one week, another guy's working well another week. John's throwing well the other week. If you can get them all going on the same page and doing well at the same time, you're gonna perform much better.
And let's not forget the point has been nailed home all season long, but Mike Pritchard is out, Rod Bernstein is out, so this is a team which has been adjusting to a lot of different players on offense. 1st and goal, Elway out of the shotgun. And he's got Milburn in the flats. Milburn not able to escape the clutches of Orlando Waters. And that'll bring up 2nd and goal.
Real good solid defense up front. You see a stun on the right side of your screen. Sam Adams is going to get up and almost knock the ball down. Milburn getting the ball, but Waters right on him, losing his footing. But even if he'd kept his footing, you're looking at great pursuit, a great chase for the ball, and that shows that these are guys that still believe that they can get the job done. They're still hustling.
Milburn and Reggie Rivers flank Elway. Elway to the end zone. Shannon Sharp incomplete. Rufus Porter might have deflected Elway's pass.
Yeah, Rufus came in late and was able to get his hand in and knock the ball away. Rufus is on the left side of your screen. He's going to be dropping back into coverage. John throwing right over the middle, and Rufus
right at the last second.
Great job to get after the guy, and John obviously very emotional, but great reaction, great speed to keep up and make that play by Rufus Porter.
And the quick give to Rivers. Rivers wants to pass, chased out, throws it away, and that'll bring up 4th down and goal. A little razzle-dazzle by...
That is the play that you always have to watch for with the Broncos. But everybody knows that they do it, so it's planned for there. The play starts to the right, John hands it off, but then John takes off to the left. It's a fake 18 throwback to the quarterback. They had John Elway covered running down the far sidelines, and Rivers had to find an alternate route, and there just wasn't any.
So 11-play drive stalls, and Jason Elam is on to attempt which will be a 22-yarder. And again, the hold is muffed, and Elam doesn't even get a chance.
Well, the punting game has been great. Field goals today, another story.
Jeff Campbell muffed the hold.
The ball a little high right at his head, but you know, these guys train day after day after day, and they're used to the ball coming just about anywhere, getting the ball down and turning the laces towards the goalpost.
So after that drive, which we would have assumed that Elam would have nailed that, he doesn't even get a chance at it, and Tom Flores comes up big. With 11 seconds left, you can bet Rick Meyer and the Seahawks will take a knee and let the time. Not exactly an offensive display by Denver or Seattle. Broncos begin at their 41, 1st and 10. Russell spins his way, a couple of 360s up to the 44, brought down by Terry Wood. John Elway is 6 of 15 in the first half for just 49 yards. As we take a look at the passing chart, you'll note that just one pass of 21 yards or more, but not getting it downfield to his receivers, a lot like Rick Meyer.
Right. Well, you can see he's 2 for 4 in each of the flats, 1 for 2 in the middle, but they're all short ones. And Jim Fossil, the offensive coordinator, said, you know, the running game's been a little iffy, so we've really done ball control offense with the short pass that John can throw so well.
Russell has 79 yards rushing, looking for more. Good pursuit by Seattle. He's run out of bounds by Orlando Waters.
You see Orlando Waters hit him up there in the flat, and
Frankly, an offensive display